What's up, and welcome to episode 262 of First Geek for 11. It's been quite a while. We're back with our first numbered episode in about a month. Go check out last week's book club. And I am not at it alone as your host, Cameron Franklin. With me, as always, the newly graduated West Coast, Best Coast, Emma. How you doing?
Hi. I did it, guys. I am alive and still here. I
So
would
proud of
be
you.
wearing my graduation cap, but I already hung it up in my closet and it has glue on it holding it together. So there are pictures in the Discord. It's all D&D
Yeah,
themed.
it was an A plus graduation cap.
It was
Like,
the also the most decorated cap there. I will tell you
yeah,
that.
that I mean, this is your cap is amazing. This is not coming across as belittling the cap. That surprises me.
It does.
Like
Trust me, it
in
surprised me too.
in like a
For an art school, you'd think more
yeah.
people would have decorated their caps.
And so yeah, that kind of surprises me. Just that that was one of the things that made me sad when we graduated, undergrad. We Chris and I, or I guess me at that time, since I graduated early. But like no one decorated caps, and it just like
Really?
wasn't a thing. And I was just like super sad that I didn't get to do that, even though mine would have sucked because like I'm not a crafty person. But like seeing how cool yours was definitely made me jealous.
Yeah. I mean, I literally have like next to my desk, I have a whole it's like a you I wouldn't call it IKEA furniture, but it's like a small almost a nightstand thing, but it's designed for holding craft supplies.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally have a whole piece of furniture that just holds a bunch of craft supplies for the random time once or twice a year where I sit down and just make one big thing.
Hey,
So like I was pulling out washi tape that had glitter on it and put that on the dice and things. So a lot of
yeah.
fun.
Based on some things that I'm going to say later, very pro craft supplies. So
Yes,
make sure to get that ready.
the I
So
I tend to stock up on those
yeah,
for the 2 times a year that I need them. So requested a hot glue gun for Christmas 2 years ago
there you go.
because I run into situations like graduation where I'm like, I need hot glue. It's either the hot glue gun or the super glue, and I'd rather use a hot glue gun.
Go. Makes sense.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Uh, as always, when it's been a while since we've podcasted, we're going to the actual intro in a moment. But as always, it's been a month. A lot has happened. We are not going to try to catch up on all of the news, but we are going to spend the time trying to catch up on what we have been up to over this past week. Some of this will be conversations similar to what we had in the Discord and stuff like that. But we kind of want to take this time to go and circle back, and then we'll get into our two major topics of the week, which are the new season of Doctor Who has premiered, and then we also received some Square Enix news today. And so those are going to be our two major topics for this show. But before we get into what we have been up to, as always, you can find us on social media as OneGeek411. Join that Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can watch live Monday nights on Twitch around 6:35, 6:40 Mountain Time. And then find the videos over on our YouTube. Then you can also check out that Redbubble store for that merch. And as we get into what we have been up to, chat. Let us know what you've been up to. If you're watching later on YouTube, drop it in the comments section. If you're live on Twitch, let us know in Twitch chat. With that, Emma, I said
Yes.
it's been a month. What have you been up to?
Been. First and foremost, started a job. Finally got a job, which is great. We love getting and starting jobs. This job is a lot better than what I was hoping for and aiming for, so I am very grateful. I am, to summarize in the way that I can legally, I am doing editing content stuff for a big company that everyone knows and loves, for a couple of their YouTube channels. So it's a great starting off point. I have my foot in the door, and there's quite a few options for potentially moving up the ladder a little bit further down the road. So it's great. And as I've been telling people, I have a full-time editing job with health insurance, which is rare in my field.
That's awesome.
So when people hear that, they're like, oh, okay. Do you have a real job? And I'm like, yes, it's not just contract work. So that's great. I'm very happy about that. I finished Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not sure if that happened before or after we had our mini hiatus, but it happened, so yay. Very
you had
exciting.
Not mentioned it before, so I don't.
There we go.
But that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it had not been brought up before we took our break.
There we go. I now have 2 more campaigns that I am playing. One is a Dark Urge playthrough, which I started a while ago, and the other is like basically a Himbo Barbarian playthrough.
I love it.
That one I started specifically because the first 2 games I failed both times to get Karlach. So
much to my dismay.
The third one I started specifically with the intention of getting Karlach into my party to resolve that issue.
Real quick in chat,
yes.
CY42 says congrats and you made it big time. So
yeah, I did.
Appreciate you coming in, CY.
And thanks for the congrats. Appreciate it. Similar to that, I finally got my proper mic to work with Discord, which makes me, a film person with experience in sound, very happy because it means I'm not using the dinky little mic on my headphones, which has driven me insane for months on end.
I would love it if you got a boom and like use like a boom mic
just
for
have a
yourself.
Boom stand with a C stand, yeah. Boom arm, yeah. Trust me, if I had the space, I wouldn't be surprised if that ended up being a setup of mine. Like, going for all the good quality stuff because I know now, and the bad stuff, I'm like, please don't. So, anyway, perks of being in sound and film and editing. You notice all of it. One of the things I was just working on, I noticed when a guy fumbled over his line, even though it was very subtle, I was like, you forgot your line right there. No one else would notice, but I noticed. Anyway, so yeah. Finished Baldur's Gate 3. I am still on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I just picked that back up, but I am on my last territory to, like, ally with, or whatever, that I'm working on. So that means I'm getting towards the end of that, which is great.
Just in time for the announcement of the next Assassin's Creed.
Still, I also haven't finished Mirage. So, there are plenty of games I've started and not finished. Fallout, the show came out, which means I also started Fallout 4. That one's going to be a much more casual game for me to play. I'm not aiming to finish that one anytime soon. In part because it takes so much to get through, plus the way the controls are set up and how they're used is ancient. The one thing that really dates that game are the controls, I will say. And it drives me insane. But I'll push through. This last weekend, as mentioned, graduation happened. Officially graduated. No longer in graduate school. Very happy with that. No more school trauma anytime soon. And last but not least, I joined another D&D campaign. There are so many in my life. Except this one. It's
shocked.
Shocked. It's kind of funny. So I'm in the Cantrip Candles, shout out, campaign right now.
Not sponsored, but would like to be.
Not sponsored, but, one of the other players from that campaign messaged me like Friday or Saturday, and it was like, hey, I'm gonna run a game that's not like 25 players. Do you want to join? It's all Cantrip people. And I'm like, yes, please.
Ready to party.
And he works at a film equipment place, and they can use their stage, one of their little
That's
setups,
sick.
Outside of working hours. So we might be playing in a film, basically really film stuff with fun lights and everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, photos may or may not come when that happens, and it's very
yes,
exciting.
Please.
So, yeah. And that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited
Yeah.
for you. Obviously, graduation and getting a job; those things are huge.
Yeah,
And
those are the two big things.
yeah,
Got a
I'm so
job
excited too that
and
it's
then
like
graduated in
yeah,
that order.
yeah. I'm just like hyped that you're not like scrambling post graduation for whatever or for stuff.
Yeah.
And,
I was for 3 months there,
yeah,
very much unemployed.
yeah,
Just for people who don't know, I technically finished in December.
yeah.
But then graduation was this weekend, so. But now I have a job, so.
Yeah. Very excited for you. Very excited that you're using this degree too. Like that's also awesome. Like,
Yep.
and so I know how much that has like meant to you. As we talked about this before, but it feels like obviously we knew each other before you went to grad school, but it feels like this era of your life, like that we've been like more regular friends, has really been centered around you either trying to get into school or being
Yep.
in school. And so,
Yep.
so
And now
I'm so
I am
excited
done
for
with
you.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Onwards to the next big thing.
Yeah, and I really hope once some of the stuff that you have edited for whatever this channel is, you'll be able to share that. Hey, this is the thing that I worked on, and so
Eventually.
once things like that are public, and so
Yeah. Once they no longer apply to NDAs.
yes. So for me, ironically, like I think literally the same day as Emma, I also got a new job.
Hey.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we started the same day.
I think, yeah, we
And
started on
so-
the same day. It was like a Monday the 22nd or something.
Yeah. And so hype for both of us.
Yeah.
And so I am now over at Michael's, which is why I mentioned the craft supplies thing earlier. It's been great. I love the people. It's been very exciting getting to kind of learn new stuff. It's very weird for me as I had been in my job at GameStop for 5 years. And so like I really knew people and I knew the processes and I knew what was up. And then now going to Michael's and like starting from scratch, I feel like there's like, well, I don't know what to do here. Can someone like email the people on my team? Can someone look at this? Cause I don't shrug emoji. Is this us? Like, and there's been stuff that's like I don't know if this isn't my job or I just haven't been trained on this yet. Like there's definitely that side of things. And
Yep.
so,
Yep.
but it's been really good. Very excited for it. And, other than that, I say other than that, like there's not a lot. I have this massive list of things, but similar to Emma, a lot has happened over the past month.
Been a busy month.
Yeah. Deanna and I went on a Disney cruise with some of our friends. And so that was a ton of fun. We went to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica were our stops. It was a lot of fun. One of my best friends from college and his husband, it was like the four of us. And so it was a ton of fun. We did a lot of trivia. We ate a lot, like we partied. It was great.
As you should.
Yeah, they did a Marvel Superfan event,
Ooh.
and it was basically like a trivia contest where the fewer participants there were, it changed games like as there are fewer and fewer people.
Ooh,
And so like round one, like everyone participated in, and it was multiple choice questions, and you would like select your one, hide it, then they'd put it up, then you'd like hold up your answer. And then once that got whittled down to like 8 people, they had the 8 of us come on stage.
Nice.
And then we did games as we like continued to whittle down. And then the finals was my friend and I, which was like crazy hype that it was the 2 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And the final trivia is they just put up pictures of Marvel characters and we had to name them as fast as we could.
Nice. Who won?
I ended up winning by like 3 names. Like it was really tight. Because I think it was, you had 15 seconds to name as many as you could, I think is what it was. No, maybe it was 30 seconds to name as many as you could, and each one was half a second.
Ooh.
So it was like almost a second, something like that. So it was very fast. Maybe they were about a second, because I think they said I got 19 of them.
Okay.
But there were some on there, because like it was like MCU, it was comics, it was like TV shows, it was anything. And I gotta say, when they put up the ones from the like Netflix MCU shows, good luck naming those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got
Some
lucky.
of those get really niche.
Right. Like I got lucky and had Jessica Jones.
Okay.
I blanked on the Purple Man and I just yelled out David Tennant. And so, which was great because it made everybody laugh. But then
I feel like David Tennant just kind of plays different versions of himself in
Yeah.
everything.
I was close to saying the Doctor. But
Man, that's a creepy version of the Doctor.
yeah. I just like completely blanked on the Purple
Not
Man.
one I would want to
Yeah,
interact with.
Definitely not the kind of doctor that we'll be talking about
No.
later. But my friend had the Luke Cage characters.
Ooh.
And I gotta say, man, good luck remembering any side characters like hero name from Luke Cage, or villain
I feel like
name.
Jessica Jones and Daredevil are like the easiest of those, and even those are a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and like Danny Rand might have been there, but like I don't remember if there was anyone else from Iron Fist. But yeah, it was rough, like in a fun way. Of like, this was us as fans trying to do this. And so 10 out of 10 do recommend. And so, also, after we got back from the cruise and started the new job, Shanine and Travis came to visit. And so now that, we've kind of have pictures out and stuff, it was really excited to have them. We hosted them for a week. We went to Scarborough Renaissance Fair, which is the Ren Fair in South Dallas. Or south of Dallas. It's not really in South Dallas. And so that was a ton of fun. I have also finally completed the Infinity Gauntlet of meeting all of the first Geek people in person.
Yes.
After podcasting for like 3 years together. Finally met Shanine. And so that was very exciting. We hung out, played a lot of games, played some Magic. Shanine made a comment about like I was asking her like what Magic deck she wanted to play, and she gave me like a class, like a D&D class, and now I can't stop thinking of my decks in terms of what like class they would be.
Ooh, that's really fun.
And so yeah, it was just like a random offhand comment she made that then has like taken up way too much of my brain space as I like think of that.
There you go.
Yeah. And so it turns out a lot of Warlock and like Artificer are like the ones I think I go to a lot. And then I also beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Took 80 hours, but we made it through. I will not be going for that platinum trophy. I might play a little. Yeah, I might be playing a little bit more, trying to knock out some of the other side content, but like, I'm not feeling. It's like roughly another 80 hours to get the platinum, from what I've seen online, and I'm like, yeah, not about. I love that game, A+ game, but wow, I am not in for another like 80 hours to try to get the platinum.
No.
And so, and then. Other things, and I think technically these are all actually in the past week. I started and platinumed Tales of Kinzara Zhao, which is a indie roguelike based on African mythology. Very fun. I had some issues with the controls. There's a couple like chase segments that are not great, like where like you're side scrolling and something's chasing you. And there's just like a lot of times where it's like, oh, you needed to stop and turn here. Good luck having known that before you died. And but it was a fun play. It's free on PlayStation Plus Extra, and so definitely recommend it. And it's like an 8-hour platinum, and so
Okay.
if even, and the platinum is basically play the game. Like there was some stuff that like I had skipped.
Kind of
that
like
I,
Stray.
yeah, like I had skipped a couple of the collectibles, but like had I done the backtracking before I beat the boss, like there really wasn't anything fast travel wise that like I couldn't have done before I beat the final boss. And so then over on Cameron plus Deanna, because it turns out took a break here, also took a break over there. And so I've been getting back into that and streamed some Circus Electrique, which was the free game on Epic this week or this month. It is Darkest Dungeon meets Steampunk Circus.
Ooh.
So I've really been enjoying it so far. I've played it off stream, which is a lot of times a sign that I really enjoy a game. When it's like, not only am I going to stream this, I'm going to actually just like play it more on my own. And I have reached the difficult part of the game, let me tell you. The first couple of battles, I'm like, this is so easy. And now I'm like, there's like a lot of fights where I'm actually struggling through it, which has been really fun. And then also over on Cameron plus Deanna, I streamed my first play of Animal Well, which is another indie game. It's another Metroidvania. Very like 2-bit or not 2-bit. That's not right. Very like
man, we're going
yeah,
real low there.
Yeah, very
Not
like
even
16.
8-bit.
Yeah, very 16-bit. Not quite sure story wise what's going on. It was just kind of the point. But you're like this blob, and you're trying to presumably get out of this well that is filled with animals, and so enjoying it so far. It seems to be that there's like 4 major things that you're trying to do, and I have done one of those 4 things, and so that's probably going to become my stream game over on Cameron plus Deanna.
There you go.
Then in the world of Marvel, so X-Men 97 has been happening. Pretty sure we talked about that pre-break just based on when it started. And Emma, it is so freaking good. Have you watched any of it?
I have not. It is on my list, like everything else. Yeah, I mean, I've mostly just been settling into work, so I haven't gotten a chance to watch anything aside from Doctor Who.
Completely understandable. If you can, this week is the finale.
Okay.
And so I would love for us to be able to talk about it next week. Obviously, life takes priority, but like I would love to hear what you think. I've said before, the X-Men animated TV show from the 90s is the reason I'm a Marvel fan. It's the reason I'm an X-Men fan. And pretty much every episode of this show has been insanely good and has been, they can't top this with the next episode, but like every single episode is hitting. There's some great character development. They treat some characters way better than that character has literally ever been treated. And so like without going into specifics, this isn't really a spoiler. But like they have Cyclops do some stuff that is like the coolest Cyclops has ever been. And stuff that like when we actually get MCU X-Men, I would love for them to cue off this version of Cyclops for that as someone who's like never been a Cyclops fan. There's like stakes, things matter. Like it's been super good. I'm very excited for the finale. Because of that, well, I say because of that, we also had free comic book day, which was also May the 4th. And so there I picked up a bunch of comics. I think I showed stuff off post-show chat last week after book club. So been reading through those comics on, and then I also have been, as part of that, been reading through House of X, Powers of X, which is like, I Googled what are the best current X-Men comics, and that was the collection that came out. So that's the one that I bought during free comic book day, to support my LGS, and loving it. It's a really cool story. I'm almost done with House of X, and so then I'll go into the Powers of X side of the story. But the gist of it is, it's very like in kind of traditional X-Men fashion. Like it's very different time periods. It's very how can we like the mutant allegory being like the allegory for the persecuted. It's very like how do we survive this, and it's so good. I'm very excited I'm probably gonna finish House of X tonight. I've been trying to read one comic a night just so that I actually space it out. But it's been so good. And then also during Free Comic Book Day, I picked up Marvel Dice Throne. And so I posted a picture of this. Have you heard of Dice Throne before?
No.
Okay. So Dice Throne is, you can think of it as like competitive Yahtzee.
Okay.
And so it's like if you made Yahtzee like a competitive board game. And so like you have a character, and that character has abilities based on what you roll. So like you roll a 4 of a kind, you activate a specific ability. You get a small straight, you activate an ability. You get a Yahtzee, that's a different ability. And so each character has different powers, different gimmicks, and stuff like that. And so there's a like normal Dice Throne, and then there's a Marvel version. And so we picked up the Marvel version as well as one of the 2 expansions for it. And so we played for the first time last night. I played as Miles Morales because like obviously like gestures broadly at all of the Spider-Man stuff around him. Like y'all can't see the like I can't see the wall of like Miles Morales pops that I have over here. And it's really cool. Miles is all about like comboing, and like you attack, then you get to attack a second time, and so you're trying to trigger that. And then he also can web people and turn invisible, and then it's really fun. And then Deanna played as Thor. So obviously Thor is all about Mjolnir. And so it's throwing Mjolnir to deal damage to your opponents, pulling Mjolnir back to get a benefit to yourself. And really fun, very cool how differently the characters play. Even within like the same mechanic of you're doing like the Yahtzee 3 rolls thing and trying to get things to match. And so Deanna did best me. She got me the first time, and so I'm excited for us to go and play some more, try the other characters. The expansion that we got is Captain Marvel and Black Panther, and so I'm very excited to try those characters and see what they're about. So, and then 2 more things. This is why we're doing prolonged whatever we've been up to. I had posted this in the Discord, but I finally actually bought it last week or paid for it. Itch.io is doing another really awesome bundle. They've done these a few different times. This is the TTRPGs for Trans Rights West Virginia, which is a bundle that they're currently doing in support of, I should have highlighted, Project Rainbow, which is West Virginia's only LGBTQ plus shelter. And so... and as part of that, if you support them, the bundle is 529 items. And as I posted in the Discord, this is so dangerous for me, in like all the best ways. I'm currently, I think I'm about halfway through going through the bundle, and I have 15 tabletop RPGs that I would like to play. I'm like...
That is a solid number.
Yeah. So like some of them are like not going to be like anything too crazy in sense of like needing other people. So there's one called Rig, which is a solo Souls-like mech tabletop RPG. So like I'm really excited to try that. I can play it by myself. I'm considering doing that for a stream. There's another one that I would love for us to do called Fox Curio's Floating Bookshop.
Ooh, wait, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, I posted a link to that one separately in the Discord, but like that one seems really fun just based on like the little bit of it that I read.
Is that did you put that under the TTRPGs tab?
Yes, I did. And
Great.
so there's another one called Neon Knights, which is like a cyberpunky one. There's one called Coven, which is a one-page warlock-only tabletop RPG. There's another one called Coven Dinner Party, which is like all about witches in the woods throwing a dinner party. And like I'm just like so
Honestly,
into
that's great.
yeah, I'm so in to try all of these. And so Deanna was giving me a hard time because it's like I'm already in like 5 different TTRPGs. The last thing that I need is more. But like, let's go. I'm so hyped. And
You
so,
and me both, friend.
and so it's so great to get all those things. It's also so great to be able to like have itch.io continue to do these bundles. And then I also want to shout out some of the people that they're partnering with aren't actually providing the stuff through itch.io. So there's actually more than 529 things in the bundle, which is awesome. And so one of the reasons that I saw this bundle is because Paizo is a part of it. Paizo is the publisher of Pathfinder. And so by supporting this, we'll also get access to the Pathfinder Lost Omens Knights of Last Wall. And so that's something that's being sent separately because it has to be redeemed on Paizo.com. So like that's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Arc Dream, which does Delta Green, is also doing stuff. And then our games Unbound, as well as Polyhedral games. Polyhedral game. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I've ever said that word out loud or like read it. I've only ever said polyhedral. And so they're doing stuff with Justice Velocity. And so really excited. Super fun stuff. I'm excited to kind of dive into that. And then lastly, met up on Saturday with some friends to play some Super Smash Bros. And so like in the pre-COVID days, we had a like every other week Super Smash Bros. Tournament during lunch at work. Now that group has kind of scattered, but we all got back together at a friend's and played like 3 hours of Super Smash Bros. Did like a mini tournament. It was so much fun to play with these people again. Some of the people I have not seen in like years because of job changes. And so it was really cool to get to see everybody again and get to hang out and play Smash Bros. I won the first round of the tournament. So like shout out to me. And it was we could only use the N64 characters. And then it was
you guys set for yourselves
for that. So every round had like 2 modifiers.
Okay.
So the first round was N64 characters only and Pokeballs on high spawn. And so I won that one. Did I win or did the Pokemon win? We'll let there's no tape, so no one can go back and check. But
yeah.
So like I played that.
There's no finish line camera to review.
Exactly. All I know is I got the W. And so and then the next round was no items, but no returning characters. So once someone played a character, that character was out for the rest of that round or that mini tournament. And so then the final one was no items, anything goes. So kind of the most like traditional. And so it was a ton of fun. And it was great getting to play with people again. With that, long what we've been up to. Very excited to get to catch back up. Let's jump into our topic of the show for this week, which is also our very first news story, and that is that we have had I messed up the click. There we go. We have had the first 2 episodes of the new season of Doctor Who. Emma, take it away.
Hello. I am a Doctor Who fan, obviously, by multiple indicators.
Yeah.
Which should be obvious by this point in time if you're a returning listener. Are we doing... I know you said this earlier. Are we doing news first and then impressions?
Let's do the news first, and if we like, we'll kind of do like if we do impressions as part of that, great. If we don't, we'll do impressions at the end. So
okay. I will do news-ish things that it's not full news. It's just general things to take note of going into the season for people. Part one, it is accessible for us Americans on Disney Plus, which may seem a little odd, but I mention this because Disney minorly has its fingerprints on Doctor Who now because made they are contributing financially to the creation of the show. Um, so they made a deal with the BBC, um, where the BBC gets to stream it on Disney Plus, and gets Disney's money to make it. Um, in return, it's a little unclear what Disney gets, aside from definitely some moments of it feeling slightly Disneyfied. But that does not mean that Disney owns it or is the one making it. I'm going to say that right now,
Yep.
even though I feel like that's the route it's going. Part 2. This season, with the 15th Doctor, it is Ncuti Gatwa, and he does not have any one specific costume. As we learned recently in an interview with Russell T Davies. He is going to change outfits every single episode. It's been a long-running thing that each Doctor has their own outfit. That's very iconic to who they are. So this is a big change-up of tradition for the show that's literally been around for like 50 years, almost 60 years, or essentially 60 years. And I have in my notes here, is this going to be like when they gave the Doctor Sonic sunglasses? Question mark. Because the Sonic sunglasses got big backlash. People were not happy that they took away the screwdriver and gave him Sonic sunglasses. Will it be accepted or rejected by fans? I personally am like, well, I would like it if he had a consistent iconic look and then changed it up, because the Doctor has definitely done that in the past, but I could see why they're experimenting with something new. Again, that doesn't mean they shouldn't have something that makes him unique. But on the other side of that is that he himself is unique in the sense that he's the first Black actor and openly queer actor to play the Doctor, which is fabulous, because they're not continuing so much with the trend of we love our straight white men, but they're not continuing with the trend of straight white men. All of those people that we have had in the role, we love. I mean, they've all been very unproblematic. David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, all of these people who are so delightful. But Ncuti Gatwa is a break from the mold himself as the person taking up the helm, which is great. So even though there's no one outfit that he gets, he himself is another step in representation for this show that it hasn't really had in the past, at least in the leading role. So that's great. The first 2 episodes that we've gotten, Space Babies, and I can tell you I forget the name, but they go to see the Beatles in the 1960s. Delightful, not completely up to my personal standard for, Doctor Who, but it gets a pass because things are changing, and I tend to give the switchovers a bit of benefit of the doubt. Plus, we get to see Maestro in the second episode that has some little extra hints of the giggle left over from the special. We get to learn, spoilers, that he is the Giggles, or they are the Giggles child. I shall correct myself. They are the Giggles child. And that's a lot of fun, and it's a little through line of potentially more, maybe a little bit more of Neil Patrick Harris returning the show, which I wouldn't complain about. Um, NPH has been a fan cast for Doctor Who for years and years,
Mm-hmm.
but very delightful exploration of music and its impact. Space Babies, I was very excited for that concept. Flopped a little bit, um, but hopefully it'll pick itself back up.
And the second one was called The Devil's Chord.
There we go.
So,
thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Yeah. So, on my end, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I would by no means say I'm a big Doctor Who fan, especially because I spend a lot of time comparing to you, and so I come at it as a much newer fan. And so for me, obviously, like a lot of stuff like the series traditions, like they're not as big to me because I haven't been around the fandom as long. And so, like, I didn't even know about the Sonic sunglasses. I was really confused when you had that in the show notes. I was like, I don't know. I had never even heard of this. And so,
yeah. The 12th Doctor went through a phase where he didn't have a screwdriver at all. He used Sonic sunglasses, and people weren't too happy with that.
Yeah, like I fell off. We started 12th Doctor, but did not get through it. So, like, we're behind. And so for me, I'm excited. I like this not having a iconic look. Again, this is something that I'm curious to like what this will mean for the character, like how they're going to be remembered. Where like, as you said, so many of the Doctors have their super iconic, even like down to like specific details, like Jodie Whittaker's shirt, like that specific thing, that specific design.
Yep.
David Tennant with the 3D glasses and stuff like that. They have those little things, and
the
so
shoes or the scarf or the piece of celery that turns purple when in the presence of a specific gas.
So I'm curious if we'll see something kind of like those, where it's like there are these little things that will become fan favorites, and that'll kind of be it. But there's not going to be like one iconic look for the Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm curious to how that's going to play out. I'll say for like the legacy of the character. And I'll say like in the era of cosplay, I am like all up for people having more things to cosplay, especially because he's looking so good in all of the things that he's been in so far.
Yeah, he is.
And so, like, shout out to their costuming department, both for him, but also for Millie's Ruby Sunday. Like, they are having so much fun with the costuming for this, and it's awesome. And I love this isn't a spoiler, but this, I guess, fast forward 15 seconds. I love that they acknowledge the costume change in the second episode. It's like, we do this. Oh, wait, why would we go out dressed like this? We're going to go meet the Beatles. And so they go and have a costume change.
I want a beehive. I have loads of wigs.
I love it so much. It made me so happy. I love that.
One thing I do want that we got, it's something that we get a lot in the classic series, but that we haven't gotten at all in New Who, or like very little bit of, is seeing more parts of the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of the TARDIS in classic Who, aside from the central, like the console area. And there's like one episode where they go to the heart of the TARDIS, and that's it. But I want to see, like, you know, the outfit room, the closet, the, you know, whatever else, because we know it's there. There's all of the lore present. But, like, I want to see it modern day. Give us those moments.
So I'll say, for me, for our 2 episodes, I liked Space Babies. Like, it's so goofy that,
it's so goofy.
We discussed this with the Church of Ruby Sunday from the Christmas specials, where we get our introduction to this Doctor and to Ruby. And we kind of get like the Goblin King and stuff like that of like, that's the Doctor Who that like as a new fan, I like. Cause it's it is the like Doctor Who like has some amazing serious episodes. But like one of the things that like I love about the series is that it doesn't always have to take itself seriously, especially when you compare to so many other sci-fi franchises. And like I don't mean that as a negative to other ones. I love Star Wars, but like Star Wars a lot of ways has to take itself seriously. And that's part of why I like Star Wars Visions, because there it gets to be silly, it gets to be like these abstract things. And so, yeah, one of the things I always love about the Doctor is that, especially because Doctor Who centers around not killing, that it gets to have more fun, because not every story is a war. Not every story is like literally the Doctor fighting people and like punching out an alien or something like that. Like, so I love that goofy side of things. And then even with the Maestro of like, I love, again, no, we're not going to get into any like specific spoilers, but like as much as there are serious like ramifications for what that episode is setting up, and I'm really excited for those, I also love how goofy the Maestro is.
Yeah, so
and
goofy.
It's so silly, like plot wise, what is going on in that episode. Shout out to the person that plays them, like
yes,
whose name I don't.
A well-known and an established drag queen, by the way. Like,
oh, okay, I was wondering about that.
They came in as a drag queen.
Okay.
And I think actually competed on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, nice.
And may have won, or was in at least like the top 5 or something of their season. I don't quite remember, but is like a working drag queen, which is fabulous. So
yeah, that's super cool.
Good for them. Gold star.
Jinx Monsoon is the name of the person, and so yeah, I love it. I'm so excited, and it's been great so far. I'm excited, and I've said this every time we've talked about it. This is the first time I will be watching Doctor Who as it comes out.
Ooh, that's
and so I didn't keep up. Jodie Whittaker was the only one I could have done that with, just based on when I like start. Like, I'd seen Doctor Who, but I really wouldn't say I was a fan until Deanna and I got married, and we sat down and watched it, and kind of realized the reason I wasn't a fan is I hadn't gotten to the point that really clicked with me.
Yeah.
And so like there's Matt Smith is my Doctor, and when you start with 9, like it takes a long time to get to Matt Smith, and like I do enjoy David Tennant, I like Chris as well, but like actually getting to the end of David Tennant, getting into Matt Smith, that's like
the one who you may not know yet is your person or your doctor or whatever.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to watch it live. In chat, Chunk comes in and says, Star Wars doesn't take itself as seriously as Star Trek. It gives itself room to be silly. Yes. Yeah. I definitely agree.
I would say Star Trek doesn't take itself seriously. I mean, I would say modern Star Trek tries to take itself seriously, but original Star Trek knew it was silly.
Yeah, it kind of hit from, again, I don't know this. This is me like connecting dots. It kind of original Star Trek kind of reminds me of original Doctor Who in a lot of ways.
It's
very
like much the same.
We are campy. Yes, we're aware that all the Daleks are cardboard.
Yes.
Like, pay no attention to that. Like,
the difference between Doctor Who and Star Trek is Doctor Who has never taken itself seriously. Star Trek has very much, modern Star Trek is trying to take itself seriously. I'm saying this all, mind you, I don't watch Star Trek, but I'm very much from a Star Trek family. My dad's side, obsessed. Like, my uncle has a USS Enterprise as instead of a star for their Christmas tree that lights up and does the theme and everything. So I know enough of Star Trek that I'm like, it tries to take itself seriously now, even though it never has been. So.
But yeah, so I'm excited to be watching this live. I'm excited to see what happens. Like, I'm excited that we're going to be able to do like an actual spoiler cast of this. Like,
Yes.
I think there's 8 episodes in this season, and so I'm really excited for us to get to do a spoiler cast. Excuse me. Once we get through all 8 of those, and Chunk also says, I keep meaning to get into Doctor Who, but I'm just worried I've missed way too much. Start right now. Like, start with the 15th Doctor. It's a great time to jump on.
You can skip everything and start with this season, and they've done a really good job of, he gives literally Ruby, his companion, a very quick like crash course that's also a very good crash course for people jumping right in. So you don't need to watch everything else up to this point. Just watch this season and then go back and start with New Who. Go back to 9 once this season is done and watch with 9 forwards. Yeah. You don't need to watch Classic Who. I tell most people, like, you don't need to watch it at all. You can just watch the new series and be completely fine.
Yeah.
If you want to watch Classic Who, you can. I would say put it on while you're doing housework, because otherwise it's miserable to sit through. It's great as background noise for classic Doctor Who, not so much as to just sit and watch by itself.
Yeah, and one of the great things about Doctor Who is that it's designed, especially at every Doctor change, is a perfect time to get in. So, like, if you are interested in watching Doctor Who, Chunk, anybody, and you have access to Disney Plus, there's only 3 episodes you need to watch. You need to watch, and they're all in one collection for you right now on Disney Plus. It's Church of Ruby Sunday, Space Babies, and The Devil's Cord. Those are the only 3. You will miss stuff just because you haven't seen stuff, but that's okay. The show will explain to you what you missed if it's relevant. Yeah. And so, and then and I'll also add there, I have not seen the last 5 seasons of Doctor Who. Like of Modern Who, and I'm enjoying these first episodes. And so if you're interested, now is literally the perfect time to jump into
this
Doctor
show
Who.
Is literally so used to having a huge turnover in actor character storytelling every couple of years, so it's good at getting the audience caught up on what's happening and doing it decently well.
And I meant to pull this out earlier, but I also want to say broadly, do not let the reviews get you down. This has been review bombed, as you would unfortunately expect at this time. For it's currently sitting at a 2.8 on Metacritic for user reviews, 72 for critic reviews. Don't let those user reviews get you down. It is literally being review bombed. And so
I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of it that's unspoken is because a lot of us are unhappy with Disney being involved.
And honestly, I think that's I hope that's what it is. Unfortunately, I don't think that's why a lot of people are doing this. It has to do with it being the first Black Doctor.
Either that or it's the worst thing, which there is quite a bit of as well. So it's both. But I like to be slightly more positive and think better of people.
But so again, perfect time to go check it out if you're interested. If you want to watch more, there's more for you to watch, but you only have to have these 3 episodes. So, but with that, let's jump into our second news story, which is probably sad news. We'll get into that in a moment, or the sad implications to the news, which is after some disappointing news from Square Enix. I believe they announced that they had lost $140 million versus what they were expecting. We received an announcement today that Square Enix is planning to start taking their games multi-platform, which in itself is great. Games more places for more people to play. Hopefully that leads to better sales. And so Square Enix, I'm quoting IGN. It says Square Enix announced what it calls Square Enix Reboots and Awakens, a 3-year plan for rebooting for long-term growth. This involves a rethink across all parts of the business, but the highlight is a shift to a multi-platform strategy. Square Enix said that it will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. IGN makes the call out too of note that the wording here is Nintendo platforms, not Nintendo Switch.
Interesting.
As a piece of news from the past week, we're not going to go back and cover everything, of course, but a piece of news from last week is that Nintendo did announce that sometime in the next fiscal year, we'll hear about the Switch 2. So, and so we'll see what that actually looks like. And so Square Enix has not announced sales figures for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but they did say that they were suffering from an incomplete journey to better profitability in HD game development. And it has launched many titles, but some failed to live up to profit expectations, especially outsourced titles and some AAA titles. What is the major AAA title that they have released? It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And so, as great as that game is, see my statements at the very beginning. It's not overly surprising that the middle game in your trilogy of gigantic JRPGs are not like clicking with people.
Yeah.
Just because it is a lot of game to get through if you want to do that. And like, I love it because I'm really enjoying these games. But like, understandable why like these wouldn't necessarily be doing as well as they would expect. And then through this restructuring and this shift towards a more multi-platform approach, there's also been news that Square Enix is likely preparing for layoffs in the US and Europe amid heavy restructuring. And so nothing official from that yet, but it seems very possible based on the news / rumors that are going around that is likely going to happen. Last week we also had some massive layoffs and studio closures at Xbox, and so if this does happen, this would be Square kind of joining the latest round of tech layoffs that have existed across all industries, but have especially been hitting video games hard in the past year. And so, from a happy standpoint, I'm excited that we'll get more multi-platform games for Square. I hope that they're able to keep like visual quality as high as they are. Obviously, you have to. It's not like you can just hit a export to Xbox button for your game.
Nope.
And there's a reason that a lot of the really good looking games that are multi-platform tend to either come from massive companies or tend to be single platform.
If you thought exporting videos for multiple streaming systems was challenging, then it's more difficult for video games.
Yeah, I'm sure it's insane. And so
give me a whole, if you want me to do this thing, give me 3 hours minimum to do it.
Yeah. So like that's, again, hopefully good news. Like I said, ideally having games in multiple platforms means better sales because more people can play them. If nothing else, having games on PC like day one, like, or closer to day one, like it's been almost a year from Final Fantasy 16. It's been like 8 months. I don't remember exactly. And we're just about to get the PC release. So like, if we can have those closer, hopefully that leads to more hype and more excitement for the game. and then hopefully this also means some of their like smaller games they're able to bring multi-platform. Specifically for me, like Octopath Traveler and Project Triangle Strategy, or I think it's just Triangle Strategy. I think they took the project out, but those are both, or all three of those games are, I believe, either Switch exclusives or Switch and PC. And so I'm excited to hopefully, like, if we're going to see games like that actually come out to more places, I'm really excited for that. In chat, Chunk says, as long as they keep their quality up and keep their games on PlayStation, I'm good. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I like exclusive games because I feel like the quality tends to be higher. But, like, obviously you got to do what you got to do. Like, I would much rather a company like say quality wise have a 9 out of 10 that's multi-platform so they can make more money versus a company having a 10 out of 10 that's stuck on one platform.
Yeah.
And so more people that can play the game, the better. And so and then I do want to call out, of course, Square Enix. The main games that Square Enix has coming up that we know of are Kingdom Hearts 4, Dragon Quest 12, and the third part of Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And then I believe we're not getting any more Final Fantasy 16 content. And then we'll kind of see where they're going from there. And so do you have any thoughts on this?
Other than I'm just excited to see a couple of games that are down the road to potentially be ones that I can actually play. But I understand the big move that they're doing is for financial reasons, and it's totally understandable. So no major thoughts other than those.
Yeah, completely reasonable. Chunk says at the end of the day, they're not owned by Sony, so they're allowed to do whatever they want. Yeah, they're allowed to do whatever their contracts allow. And so, if the contract for Final Fantasy 7 Remake is that it can't be on Xbox until like the whole series is out, which I've heard like speculation that could be why it hasn't gone multi-platform yet. Like, they agreed to that contract. They presumably got some sort of compensation from Sony for that. And I'm very curious about that. Exclusives are very interesting. Like, back a couple months ago, we were talking about Pal World a lot. And it's like, wow, there sure is a lot of people that not only want this more survivally take of but that also are like, hey, people on PC, like there are people that don't want to pirate games, but would like a monster catching game that's good. Yes. Like Nintendo or Game Freak or Pokemon Company, however this weird amalgamation works. Like, it would be really cool if we could just play Pokemon on PC or PlayStation. Like, I would like it to also not run like a slideshow.
Please.
But like, yeah. And yeah, I would love for us to get to see those. It was talked about recently that there actually is no contract or there's no agreement that says that Pokemon can only be on Nintendo platforms. It's kind of like a handshake agreement, but like there's no reason that they couldn't bring a Pokemon game to other consoles or to PC more officially. And so, because there are, of course, like Pokemon spin-offs that are on other platforms, but like, and so like, I would love for us to see more games come to more platforms. Like, obviously there are specific games that's probably rarely going to ever happen, but like I would be shocked if The Last of Us Part 3 is not a PlayStation exclusive, but for what we can, I would love for that. Because even if it just means that we can get some more sales from the devs, and that can offset the cost of development for them. So, but with that is our final news story for the week. we're going to head over into post-show chat in just a moment. But before we do, our book club on Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew is up on YouTube. Feel free to go check that out. Great discussion. We have a voice of dissent, which is what always makes book club more fun. And so
Not that good.
and so I enjoyed it. And so so you can go check out that discussion over on YouTube. And then, even though that was technically recorded in May, that we are treating that as our April book club. And so for our May book club, we are going to be reading X-Men Life Death. This is what happens when you let the person that's crazy high on X-Men 97 make the recommendation. And so it's a series of comics. We'll get that list over in the Discord and have things ready to go. And I do want to recommend for people, you can buy it physically like Emma did. Bow, 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 bow.
For me, you just kind of spend the $60 because you like having physical copies of books and especially comics because you want to build your comic book collection.
Yeah.
And it's so pretty.
It is beautiful.
It is a stunning book.
I might have to get it physically.
And it has Wolverine on the back.
Oh my gosh, that is so pretty.
I'm gonna say right now, what's his face? The guy who builds the thing that takes away Storm's power looks like Freddie Mercury, and I can't unsee it.
Can't, nor should you. So if you don't want it physically, all the individual issues are available on Marvel Unlimited. And so it's called Life Death. And so this is one of the specific arcs that takes place in the X-Men 97 series. And so yeah, definitely recommend. It's a very Storm-focused series, as you can tell from the cover. And so I'm really excited to check it out. Yeah, Storm is awesome. Another character that has not been treated right by the movies.
Nope.
And so in any arc incarnation, I actually like her. I think they make her look cool in Dark Phoenix, but like that movie is just so medium that she's like a bright spot in a not good movie.
Nope.
And even then, she's not great. She's just like not the worst part of that movie.
She's probably the most well-developed of everyone in that entire movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, considering she's like a side character that like in that story is like a side character. So really excited for that. We've done a handful of other comics in the past for book club, namely Shang-Chi, which was awful. And then we did Snow Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman. That was very good. And then we did the They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, which was like less an act. I mean, it is a like graphic novel, but like it's not like it's like his memoir basically, but in comic book form. And so enjoyed those. I'm excited for us to get to return to Life Death, especially because it's like one of the best reviewed X-Men series ever. And so very excited for that. But we'll have more on Life Death at the end of the month when we do our book club. But with that, get into post-show chat. We are First Geek 411. You can find us around the internet and join that Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out Redbubble store. Watch live on Twitch and find the videos over on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Then you can also find us at our personal social media. Mine is Hugh Marwittil.
Mine is I am not prepared with an eye in the prepared.
And it's been a great week.
Go outside.
Read a comic book.